So the first question I'd like to ask you is, what is your current occupation?
I'm a Ph.D. student working under Dr. Santosh Kumar, and I'm working on the field of quantum transport using the methods of random matrix theory.
From your perspective, do you think that your work, fall in the conventional or the unconventional spectrum?
It's a well, I'm doing PhD, and PhD, like, people have been doing PhD for a long time, and even the work I'm doing, lots of research have already been happening in this field for a long time. So I would say it's pretty conventional. I'm not working on something very new or very current. Like, it is current, but it's not something very new or something started just a decade earlier or something like that.
Yes. So were you initially aiming for this current university? If yes, then why? If no, then how did you go about selecting it?
Okay, so I was not aiming for this university. Actually, I joined here as a project student in January 2019. Then in July, I shifted to the PhD program. But so actually, before joining here as a project student, I was working as an intern at Chennai Mathematical Institute, and I was looking for basically I was trying to switch my research area. I had worked in string theory in my masters. Then I had done internship in one-dimensional quantum mechanics, supersymmetric quantum mechanics. So then I was looking for some other physics fields where I could, like, try my hands on. So then I got to know, I was applying for a lot of projects. I got to know about this project, and I saw my supervisor's profile, and he had really nice publications in the area of mathematical physics. So I was aiming for something like mathematical physics. So that's why I applied here.
Right. So what is the importance of a minor degree in a particular subject, according to you?
Okay, so although I never had uh, experience with that, but being here, I would say it's really nice to have a minor degree, because in your first or second year, you're not really sure where you're going to end up after your 4 years, and it's possible that your minor degree might fascinate you more at that time, and you might want to do something in that area. While if you don't have a degree you don't have a minor in that other area, you will not have many options available to you. So I would say if you can go for a minor degree, definitely you should go for that.
Right. Um, do you
And
think that?
it also gives you a lot more perspective than just your own field. You also get to see how your field, or maybe how research, or what kind of work is done in other areas also. So that is definitely a nice perspective to have, and definitely at the undergraduate level, when one is young, and there's a lot more one can learn.
Right. So you think that should the minor subject that we choose, should it be based on what it interests us, or should it be like something kind of trying out the new stuff?
I really don't know about that. It can be any of those things. But if it is little bit related to what you're already doing, it helps definitely. But it's so okay if you don't want to, if you want to have totally different kind of subject for your minor, because the point is to get a new perspective, I guess. If you have a very specific career goal, if you're determined to do a PhD, or you know what you want to do already at your first or second year, then it might be a very good option to go for a minor which is very much related to what the major you're doing in. So it depends on what you need, what your needs are, or what you want to learn. So that's
Right. Okay. So are internship or summer programs essential and necessary?
Yes, I would say. Yeah. So because again, it gives you a lot more perspective. So when we are doing our courses in university, it gives you a very limited perspective to what kind of research is done in any area of physics or other branches also, I guess. So when you do an internship, you also get to know what kind of research areas or what kind of work is done in uh, other fields or maybe any field basically. So and secondly, it definitely increases, it adds points to your CV. So definitely one should definitely go for internships or summer programs. One should use this opportunity to maximum, I would say.
Right. Um, what kind of problems does one usually face while applying for a postgraduate degree? And what is the most crucial step according to you in the process?
Okay. Personally, I would say, from my perspective, the most difficult thing is one does not know where to start and uh, what is expected, what are the things, what are the requirements for any PhD program if you want to go abroad. So and when to start, all that is also a big question. When I started applying for PhD programs abroad, I found that I was very late. So one should be, if one has that goal in mind, one should be very clear in their approach. They need to have everything planned way before their final year, or I would say even third year. So, and your second question was, I
Uh,
forgot your second
what
question.
is the most crucial step according to you while applying?
Okay, so again, if you're looking for a PhD abroad, that also depends on where you want to go. So if you're planning for USA, the approach is a little bit different. If you're planning for Europe or Europe, then it's a little bit different. So the basic thing is, first thing you need to know when you need to know which universities are you looking for, and you need to know when you need to start. So I would say one should start at least 2 years before they're about to graduate, and one needs to I cannot specify one important point, but I would say everything is important. Your grades in your undergraduate degree is very important. Then your whatever thesis that you work on, that is very important. The recommendation letters are also very important. Your SOP, statement of purpose, that is also very important. So all these combined, and if you're planning for USA, then your GRE scores are also very important. So all these combined, you need to be like very planned about all this stuff. You cannot be like, I'll see after some time, or maybe I will see after another year. You cannot be like that if you're very serious about applying for PhD abroad or masters abroad.
Right. Okay. And what about while applying in India?
Okay, yeah. So if you're going to apply in India, then uh, yeah, definitely these entrance exams you have to crack. So you have to be you have to plan out when do you want to start preparing for these exams. Um, so I have seen many of my friends who start just 6 months before these exams. That is not a good strategy, I would say. You need to plan way earlier. You need to be very consistent with your classes and all. So if you're skipping classes, it could be because of many reasons. Maybe the professor is not good. Maybe his way of teaching does not uh, you do not like it, even if he's good at it, but you're not comfortable with that, or maybe you don't like the subject. There could be many reasons, or maybe you don't find a good particular book for that subject. But if you want to do a PhD in India, you need to be very all your subjects. You need to have a very good command at all the undergraduate subjects. And again, you need to start preparing for these entrance exams way earlier. And then I would also say that there are also many project positions in India for a lot of research. So basically, there are a lot of research openings for a lot of projects. Just like the way I joined this university. So you need to be looking for that. when you're about to graduate. So that is also plus point, because many times one does not know whether one is ready for a PhD program when or a master's program. If you can go for a project position, that helps you in two ways. It helps you financially, and second thing, it also gives you a perspective on how research is done. So even before you're going for a PhD program, you also get to know what kind of how the methodology of research and what kind of things are expected in a PhD program. So that is also very crucial. So you need to also be looking for these project positions. Yeah, I think that's it.
Right. Are there any unsaid expectations that your guides or mentors have from you while doing your postgraduate work?
Okay. Yeah, so firstly, I would say you need to be regular, you need to be consistent. So sometimes, well, a lot of times, students are very, I would say, very light with they have a very light attitude towards the courses and stuff, and that is not going to work in PhD. You need to be uh, as I said, very consistent with your and you also need to have a very good schedule or regularity, I would say, in your work. If you go about days without doing any work, and then kind of lethargy, or I would say, yeah, I kind of lethargy sets in, because see, in PhD you don't have coursework, or you don't need to meet with your guide on a daily basis. Well, it is good if you do. So basically, you're riding your own boat, and the guide can only your advisor can only guide you where you want to go. So you need to be and second thing is that it is possible that when you're doing a PhD, at many times your guide does not know, or maybe he's not aware of what not I would not say aware of, but he doesn't know as much about a field which you're working on. So it might come as a shock for someone that my guide does not even know about this topic, but that is very much expected, because he's pushing you in that field, and you are expected to learn that field on your own. It is not an undergraduate, not a master's level degree, it's a PhD course, so you're expected to research on your own. So that is, I would say, what is expected.
Right. Okay. So, how does one usually keep a track of various university programs that are being offered based on their own interests?
University programs, you mean uh,
The
post PhD
postgraduate.
degrees, or
Yeah.
okay, abroad you mean, right?
Abroad and India both.
Okay, so abroad there are a lot of websites like findaphd.com, and there are others. I can't remember the names, but there are a lot of websites where you can look for many where they publish what kind. Basically, if you're looking for Europe, they mostly have project positions. So again, they also have some projects on which they want some PhDs to work on. Some universities do have a graduate program, just like India has, but mostly you will find they have project positions, which basically turn into a PhD degree. So that those projects and all those get advertised on these websites, like I said, findaphd.com. There are others, you can easily find it on Google. Then you also you can find, if you're looking for these advertisements in India, then there's LinkedIn, there's Indeed.com, and then a very good website that I know is Doll Pages. So that pages. So they send you every day project positions, PhD positions, masters positions, scholarships, lot of stuff every day. So you can they send you all these details through email. So you can be definitely, like, you can be well prepared if you use these websites.
Right. That's some information. Uh, Has anything extracurricular ever come into handy throughout your journey in physics, like your PhD?
Okay. Uh, I my childhood I used to read mystery books a lot. So that really like that and personally I was very much interested. I got very much interested in physics because of quantum mechanics. So that because of this uncertainty principle and all that stuff, that mystery was still there and it is still there even as of today, as we know that there are a lot of mysteries in quantum mechanics. So I can think of that only. Other than that, I don't think I have any extracurricular activities that have helped me in physics.
That's good. So, what level of understanding of the subject is expected out of an undergraduate student when they enter into the master's program?
Okay. So you will you'll see that basically whatever you learn in your bachelor's or your undergrad degree, uh, you'll be learning mostly the same things in your master's degree also, with a definitely a added degree of sophistication. So I would say that you need to be very like intuitively you need to understand the physics behind whatever is going on, because in masters you'll be doing the same things with a lot of mathematical machinery. So if you don't understand in your undergrad some subject or some topic physically, then it can be really frustrating at the when you're learning the same thing at master's level, because there you'll be lost in the mathematics and you will not even understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. So it's better that you have your physics understanding very good at your bachelor's, so that it doesn't, at least you understand what you're doing. Otherwise it demotivates a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people who, my own friends, who were very much motivated for a PhD in physics, but they quit after the masters because maybe their understanding of physics wasn't that good, or they got scared of the mathematics, whatever the reason was. But I think you need to be very good, understand those things physically also at the bachelor's level.
Right. So, how does this level of understanding contrast with the level of subject knowledge expected in terms of entering into an integrated program?
Okay, I don't know that much, but I think it's kind of similar, because in integrated also courses programs also you are learning same way a master student is learning in any other university without an integrated degree. So I guess it is similar, but I'm not very sure of that.
Right. So, is it possible to enroll in a PhD program directly after bachelor's?
For SNU degree holders, I would say yes. They can directly go for PhD programs abroad. In India, I do not know. Till last year, they could not. They need to get a master's degree. But with the new education policy, I am not sure. Maybe we would be allowed to do that, but I am not very sure of that.
Right. Okay. So, what are some of the competitive exams or GRE exams one should keep an eye for? Or, according to you, when is the best time to take these exams?
So again, if you're going for USA, then you need to take the GRE subject, as well as TOEFL or IELTS. Uh, so, and if you want to know when to start, I would say you need to start. You need to give the exams at least. I would say 1 year before you want to apply, because that also that even if you do give it much earlier, it won't help, because the score has a validity of only 2 years. So if you don't get a master's abroad or a PhD degree PhD application abroad within a year of your graduating, then those scores will be useless. So you need to plan those exams, I would say 6 months prior or 1 year prior to when you want to start applying for these universities, because you also need those scores for applying. So I would say 1 year prior is a good time. And what was your other question? Okay, yeah, if you want to apply in Europe, then in most of the universities, GRE and subject GRE is not required. You need to only give TOEFL or IELTS, as I said. Uh, while yeah, that's all for I think the European universities. But yes, I would still say the overall application process, the finding out universities and all this stuff, and figuring out what if you're going for PhD, what field you're interested in. That stuff you should start doing much earlier. I would say at least 2 years before you graduate. And if you can start even before that, that would be even better.
Right. So does the university help you prepare for any of the competitive exams in any way?
SNU or
SNE.
you are asking about? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. I
And
don't know.
what about the other universities? Do they?
My undergrad my university from where I did my undergraduate, it did not help at all. Even from where I did my masters, there was no such option. So most of the universities in India do not help you in any way. Even for these net exams, net gate, all these exams, mostly they don't help you out. So yeah, you're on
Right.
your own for that.
So what was the first major research experience that you ever had?
Okay, so I started uh, basically I had a very good professor, Professor Ashok Kapoor, who gave me. So it was mostly a short research project, not research project. It was more of a literature project, I would say. So I learned a very important theorem in quantum mechanics. It's called Wigner's theorem, and very few professors I've seen who give importance to that theorem. Although it's a very important theorem, here at SNU, Professor Subro Singh Gupta teaches that theorem in a very nice manner. So I'm I'm glad that he does that. But so that was my first research experience. I really enjoyed learning that and all its implications. And also, I my master's thesis that was on superconformal, some aspects of superconformal field theory. It's a very specific part of string theory. So in that, I learned some really nice, fancy mathematics, and yeah. So
Right. So how has your ability to approach such complex problems evolved since then?
yeah, so it has definitely helped me. All these research projects or research experiences that I've had, they have definitely helped me. They have helped me in grasping more and more mathematics, even physics. Um, it's even helping me today in my research. And I personally, I kind of am more into mathematics side of things. So these experiences mostly were, I would say, I learned a lot of mathematics along the way. So that's really fun to do.
So do you think that you have managed to think of a possible method to the madness, the complex problem solving?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, all these years of education do help you to understand complex problems and deal with them and try to manage them and find answers to those problems. So yeah, it does help you out in the end, I would say.
Right. So how hard is it to be financially independent after your undergraduate studies?
Okay, so if you're going to go into academics, you have to be prepared for this situation. You will have to face many years of financial insecurity, even right now, even after I complete my PhD. I would not be sure of my financial status, because I would have to do postdoc, and then there's still uh, no surety that I will get a professor position at a good reputed university. So if you're going to get, if you're planning for academics, you have to deal with this fact, and also you will also have to face this fact that meanwhile you will be doing your masters or your PhD, your friends who would have gone to some other fields, not academics, they would be earning, and then you get into PhD, or even if you complete your PhD, they'd be earning a lot more than you would be earning in your PhD. So that would be hurtful a lot of times, but you will have to deal with this. There is no other way. So you have to either compromise with your passion, or you have to compromise with finances. So you have to manage these two things in a way you are satisfied with yourself, how you feel.
Right. So, how do you see your field evolving in the near future?
Okay, I'm still learning and I'm very much new to this field, but I guess yes. So I'm working on I'm applying random matrix theory to problems in quantum transport, but random matrix theory itself is a very vast field, and it has applications in so many areas of physics as well as mathematics as well as other sciences, biology, and even finances. So having so many applications, I don't see it dying down anywhere soon. So I believe it will continue to have many applications in the far future, and we'll be discovering a lot more applications of this field in many diverse areas. We're just starting to discover its applications, I would say, in many branches of science.
Right. So, could you take us through the journey through which you were able to narrow down on a particular question and say that this is something that interests me a lot and I'd like to try and spend more time on this?
All right. Okay. So I'll just tell you about what got me into physics. So as I said, I liked reading these mystery novels and all. So first time I learned about uh, uncertainty principle. I think it was in high school 11th standard textbook. So that really got me into physics. I wanted to know why is this happening. Then later on I learned quantum mechanics in my undergraduate, then in masters. Also I had a coursework in PhD. So there is this one question that still puzzles me, and I would really want to know its answer, even if I don't work in that area. So there's I'm not sure. So since you have not had a course in quantum mechanics, but still at least some idea you have about the Schrodinger equation, and
Yeah.
you cannot know everything about the system. You cannot know the position in the part of the particle and the velocity of the particle simultaneously. So the idea of trajectories is removed from the picture. But there are still some issues with the way quantum mechanics is taught, and it has been taught same way for many years. So let me first tell you what the problem is. So we're told um, that whenever we are doing some experiment, all we can know about that experiment is that we have a probability of having the particle here or there or somewhere else, and when we do perform the experiment, the outcome of the experiment is one of those one of the possibilities that you're expected to get before you start the experiment. But and there is this equation predicting which outcome will be more likely. That is the Schrodinger equation. But the problem is, when we do the experiment, we do not get all these possibilities that were present before even starting the experiment. What we do get is a specific certain result, which is one of those many possibilities. So it's not clear that how do we get to from from the picture of many possibilities, how do we get to that one single possibility? So how does it lead to that? That is not clear. And it in the early days of quantum mechanics, that question was uh, even ridiculed or even ignored. And many physicists believed that it is not worth consideration, or not worth researching into. But later on, and nowadays, a lot of research is going on in that field. And the problem is, I won't say it's a problem, but the thing is, the how students are taught about quantum mechanics is the Bohr's interpretation of Born and Bohr's interpretation of quantum mechanics. But there are other interpretations of quantum mechanics which are not taught at all at any university anywhere in the world. But there are many such interpretations, and still a lot of experiments and a lot of research is going on into what the best interpretation is. And it is possible in near future how we are taught quantum mechanics will be changed completely, and will be taught a totally different way of quantum mechanics. So that idea of how one possibility is chosen from a lot of different possibilities, that really excites me into this field of physics.
Right. So, last question, but not the least. Where do you see yourself in a couple of years?
I'm not sure. I might go further into academics. As I said, I might do a postdoc and then apply for a professor position, or I might go into industry level jobs or something like that. So not sure, but based on my current interests, I see myself going into the academics only.